Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Okay, hello everyone.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
সো আপনারা তো জানেনই আপনাদের এই সেমিস্টার থেকে ফুল ইংলিশ হবে আর কি কোর্স ডিপার্টমেন্টের নোটিস আর কি একটু লাইনে থাকেন ফোন করবো হ্যালো বলেন ওকে সো যেটা বলতেছিলাম আর কি আপনাদের এই সেমিস্টার থেকে তো ফুল ইংলিশ হবে এখন পর্যন্ত ডিপার্টমেন্টের ইনস্ট্রাকশন অনুসারে
স্যার মাঝে মধ্যে বলবেন বাংলা, এখানে তো ফরেন স্টুডেন্ট নেই।
না রুলস তো রুলসই এখানে কিছু করার নেই যাই হোক এখানে রেজিস্ট্রেশন করার নেই কারা কারা
স্যার করা হয়নি রেজিস্ট্রেশন।
আমি করি নাই স্যার।
আচ্ছা
স্যার করছি বাট মেইল আসে নাই।
আমার হয়নি।
স্যার আপনি ইনভাইটেশন পাঠান নাই।
সো যারা রেজিস্ট্রেশন করছেন কিন্তু ইনভিটেশন পান নাই অর্থাৎ ক্লাসে জয়েন করতে হলে আমার পারমিশন লাগছে রেজিস্ট্রেশন যারা করছেন তারা একটু মেল করে দিয়েন আইডিটা দিয়ে আইডিটা দিয়ে আর যারা রেজিস্ট্রেশন করেন নাই করে ফেলেন তখন আমরা মোস্ট প্রবলি থার্ড লেকচারে আমরা সিটি নিয়ে ফেলবো এই কারণে
থার্ড লেকচারে সিটি?
হ্যাঁ হবে সমস্যা আছে
স্যার ইন টোটাল কয়টা সিটি হবে?
কয়টা নেওয়ার নিয়ম?
স্যার 5টা।
5টাই হবে।
ওকে স্যার।
Okay, so let's start. So my screen is visible to you, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My voice is clear.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do I need to increase the sound or not?
No, sir.
No
Yes, sir.
need.
Okay. So let's start with the course syllabus. So everyone already got access to the LMS. So the auto enrollment key of LMS is 1234. Everyone knows this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you are not enrolled in LMS, please enroll there. So okay. So this is our course portal in LMS. So here I have already uploaded the reference books. So here I have uploaded 4 reference books. Mainly we'll follow the first one, database system concepts. All the books are the main PDF version, all the books. So you can download the books and keep a copy from your site. So the first is I have uploaded an announcement. Actually, all the faculties use the same format. So in the announcement, I have mentioned our Google Classroom link. This is QTVAHFH and our regular classroom meeting link. So if we visit the Google Classroom, okay. Okay. So I have already sent invitation to all the students, those who already registered for this course. So among all the students, only 16 has accepted my invitation. So please accept the invitation. So there will be two invitations, one from Google Classroom and another from Google Meet. Okay. So during the time of sending invitation, around 25 or 30 students are there, but among them only 16 have accepted the invitation. So please accept the invitation. If you did not receive the invitation, then give me a mail. Okay, I will mention my mail ID later. So let's check the course. So among 31, yeah, 31 students, only 17 has accepted the Google Meet invitation.
Sir, how we are supposed to accept the invitation?
Email.
Did you receive the invitation email?
Yes, sir.
So there will be option yes, no, or maybe. Just check the
Okay.
email again. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. So please accept the invitation email. Otherwise, if you want to join the class, I need to manually give you permission. So if in every class I need to give you permission, then it will disturb our regular class flow. That's why you should accept the invitation. If you accept the invitation, then you do not need any kind of permission to access the class. Okay. So any question regarding this process enrollment? Any question?
No, sir.
Okay. So okay, please read this notice announcement. It's just a general guideline. So after that, I have uploaded our course counseling time and marks distribution. As it is a theoretical course, so the marks distribution will is same as before. Attendance is 5%, class test 40%, assignment 10%. Your mid exam will be 20%, and final exam will be 25%. So it is all the theory courses follow the same pattern. And here is the counseling time. So here I have mentioned the counseling time. So I have declared the counseling time. Does that mean that I am available during that time? If you need counseling, first make sure you need a time slot within that time ranges. So for example, on Sunday, you need a counseling from 1 p.m. for example. So you need counseling from 1 p.m. So then what you should do, you will give me an email the day before Sunday, that means Saturday, or do not email me saying that you need counseling immediately, because immediately counseling, for example, I have a meeting during that time, then this may happen that I couldn't give you the counseling time. Okay, so that's why it's better practice if you send me the counseling request email at least one day. Okay, at least one day before the counseling time slot. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's the counseling. So here I have mentioned my email address. Okay. Then, okay. So then we have only one thing left, that is the course syllabus. Okay. Did I started the recording? Okay. Yeah. So course syllabus. So it is the old course code CSI 221. So the new course code is CAC 3521. The new course code 3521. So all the same, just in our new curriculum, we have changed the course code only, but all the course contents are same. So no problem. Just course code has changed. So it's a 3 credit course. just like before. Okay, so this is me. I think a few of you already know me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sakib Hussain. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Siam Hussain. Okay. Muhammad Jahidul. Do I know you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Miss Dia. Is familiar the name?
जी सर
Okay. Okay. So I have already found a few of the students in my previous courses. Okay. So this is me. This is my email address. Always try to contact with me using the email. In case of urgent situation, then you will call me. Without any kind of urgency, do not call me. Just give me an email. So I use email just like any other social platform. So if you email me, if I am online, you will obviously get a reply. Okay. So always try to use the email first, and if in case of urgency, then give me a call. Otherwise, do not use the phone. Okay. So this is the contact, just like before, all the textbooks. Okay. So here are the references. So this is all the references we will use throughout this course, throughout this whole trimester. So there exist several simulator links. So we will use this simulator for different topics of database. And also there exists several website links. One Stanford course links, one MIT course link, and one Berkeley course link. So, okay, so let's review some of them. So first, let's visit the Stanford course. Okay, this is the Stanford Database Management System course, and this is the whole course content and the course lectures of the corresponding faculty. And the faculty, what's the faculty? Let's see. Okay, so this is the faculty, Mr. Shiva something, whatever. So this course just not only contains an instructor, but also contains around around 11 teaching assistants. So how many teaching assistants we have in UAU? How many?
one
So 1 or 2.
Teaching assistant in theory course? Really?
For left class.
So left class.
This is theory course, so no teaching assistant. So just try to consider the standard. This is a Stanford University. The instructor is a doctor, PhD holder, and all his teaching assistants, they are either a PhD students under his supervision. So all these members took a single course, and now here I am. I have graduated from BUET, just completed my BSc, no masters, no PhD. So I am here to teach you database. So which course will be better?
There's.
Okay. So, okay. That's the difference mainly. That's why Bangladesh education system is not that much strong comparing with the other countries. Okay. So if you wish, you can visit this. I have included three course links. So there are the faculty lectures. You will find the lecture slides, demo questions, and also solutions you can find there. You need to just search. And the course syllabus is huge. Actually, in UIU, we are covering up to most probably lecture number up to 8. Then 12, 13. Okay. So we are covering a few of them. Around 80% lecture topics we are covering from Stanford syllabus. Around 80 or 70% it will be. So their syllabus is huge. The main difference is in UIU we are 4-month trimester system. Also in BUET, the database course syllabus is huge. it contains a lot of important topics, but as we have only 4-month trimester, so we need to short the syllabus. So we need to skip some unimportant or comparatively less important topics. We need to skip these topics because we need to cover the whole syllabus within 4 months. Actually, not 4 months, within 3 months. 1 month we need for the exam purposes. So, okay, this is Stanford. Let's visit MIT. This is an open course. Okay, this is MIT. Not that much information here. Just you can find topic-wise slides from the MIT professor who are the course. Okay, here they have just mentioned the course instructor's name. No, not that much details. Okay, let's visit the other university, Berkeley. Okay, it seems good. So it's been 21. Wow, the latest one it is. So all the course topics and the topics related slides are also here. And the course instructor, just only 2. There should be more stuff. Okay. So it is almost similar to Stanford, but with more assistants, I think. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, almost 13 teaching assistants and 2 instructor. So what do you think after seeing their curriculum? Hello.
Was born in the wrong country, sir.
Okay. Okay. So I have just mentioned the links. If you go Google, you will find also other universities open source course materials. So if you want to go in depth of the topics that we discuss in the class, you can visit this. You can also visit this faculty lectures. Also, there exists different types of online platforms, blogs. You are welcome to take help from all those resources, but make sure the person who is teaching you, for example, you are following a YouTube lecture, but the person who has made the content is a student, and the lecture contains a lot of errors. So in that case, you will learn the wrong thing. So that's why before taking help from online resources, first make sure to verify the instructor's profile. Make sure he is acceptable or his channel is just review the comments of his channel or blog. So if all the course contents are not satisfactory or contains any type of wrong info, then you will find this kind of reviews in his channel comments. Okay. So here comes the main link, dbbook.com. Actually, from our book session, the first book we are following mainly Database System Concepts by Sudarshan, mainly Kort. So they have dbbook.com is their own book website. Let's wait. Most probably my internet is slow. Okay, so this is the book. This is the latest edition. Most probably 7th edition is the latest, and they have already made slides for their individual chapter of their books. So actually, other faculties of UIU teach these slides. Okay, the slides are very much good to teach, and so much informative, the slides. So you can also use this link and book chapter-wise slides you will find here. So it is also a good resource to review. So next, nothing more. This is our tentative course plan. We always try to follow this course plan. The topic and the course learning outcome is also mentioned here. We have 4 course learning outcome in this course. The first course learning outcome is after the end of this course, you will be able to explain the fundamentals of database system. So it's a simple or normal or as usual learning outcome, because after the end of this course you will obviously got some idea about the fundamentals of that course. The second course learning outcome is to extrapolate. You will be able to extrapolate the theories and techniques in developing database applications. It is very, very important. So in this theory course, we'll teach you some topics and you will implement these topics in the database management system lab. So the things you will learn in this theory course, you will see you will work with the same topic in your lab. So you can easily extrapolate the theories and techniques in developing database applications. So here comes the developing part of database application. So the third learning outcome is to demonstrate the management and administration of database system. Actually, we do not go that much depth to teach you management and administration part of database, but it is just mentioned in the course syllabus. So, but we will not go in depth of that learning outcome. So it will be we will not fulfill that learning outcome that much. Next, the fourth course learning outcome is that you will be able to prescribe new developments and trends in database using commercial language. Yes, in this course, we'll use database, the latest database or recent database management system language. For example, in this course, we'll teach you a database language that is MySQL. Did you hear the name of this language, MySQL?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What about Oracle?
Yes.
Did you hear Oracle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so these are the 4 course learning outcome. Very much simple, the outcomes are. And you will accept the 3. We'll touch the 3, but we will not go in depth of the learning outcome number 3. But all the other 3 learning outcome, you will obviously have some idea or go in, you will get some in-depth knowledge. So, okay, this as before, okay. So no more left in course syllabus. So do you have any question about course syllabus? Anything?
No, sir.
Okay. So the course syllabus is in the LMS section. Just download the course syllabus from here. So this is the course syllabus or the formal part of database management system. So let's come to the horror part. Did you take any faculty review before attending to today's class?
No, sir.
No, sir. Okay.
Sir, about you, of course.
Okay.
I was in your lab course, so I know the horror.
Which lab?
DBMS?
So after lab, you are taking the DBMS theory?
Yeah.
What a weird situation. Who is this?
After the Rahman. I was in your class, but there were so many students that we had to shift.
Oh, okay. So that's your luck. Okay. So let's come to the main guidelines of this course. Throughout this trimester, there will be 5 class tests, 5 CT. So among the 5 CT, 3 will be counted, base 3. The font is clear or I need to zoom it? Font?
It's clear for me.
No, sir, it's clear.
Okay. So among the 5 class tests, we'll consider the base 3. There will be around 4 assignments. 4 assignments. Among the 4, I will count all those 4 assignments. So you cannot miss any of the assignment. So then according to the regarding the attendance. So how many class we will have? 24 or 23?
24.
24.
So among 24 classes, if you miss at most 4 classes, then you will be given full marks. Otherwise, your marks will be deducted from your attendance section. Okay, clear? So you must be attend at least 20 classes to get the full marks of attendance. Yes. So next, which part? Meet term final will be as usual. Okay. So let's come to some guidelines. So if you miss any city or assignment submission, so then the rules is you need to notify me earlier. Notify me earlier, exactly before the city or assignment submission. So for example, your city is, for example, today is your city deadline. So your class starts at 9. So you need to notify me before 9. If you notify me after 9, then you will not be eligible for the makeup class test or makeup assignment submission. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So after 9, I have no business with you regarding the city or assignment if you miss anything. Okay, so this is the first rule. The second rule is, for example, you have missed city 1, you have missed city 2, you have missed city 3. Okay, how many city you missed, I don't care. You have missed city 1, you have notified me according to the rules, no problem. Also, you have missed city 2 and you also notified me according to the rules. And also you have to do the same during your city 3, notified me. But how many city you missed, I don't care. There will be exactly only one makeup city. So if you miss 5 cities, there will be only one makeup city. So you need to make sure during the city schedules you are available for the class test or you take necessary preparation for the class test. Any question?
Sir, class test start করার পরে যদি কোনো নেটওয়ার্ক এরর হয় বা কারেন্ট চলে যায় তখন?
Actually, the class test question was, I will upload the class test question in ELMS. So after, for example, class test time is 20 minutes. So after 20 minutes, you will upload your the PDF version of your solution to the LMS. So for downloading the question, you need maximum 50, not 50, around, let's suppose 50 MB. For uploading the materials, you need around the same. So for each city and each midterm or assignment or anything, for any kind of deadline, you must make sure that you have enough backup mobile data in your mobile so that you can use the backup data and perform your actions. Yes. So these are the rules. So if there exist some exceptional cases, for example, sometimes LMS got crashed. So during this time, we will solve the problem when we face the problem. Okay. So I will not define any kind of rules right now. We will solve the problem when we face this kind of accidental problems. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sir, kindly count two or three assignment out of four.
No. For assignments, I will count all the 4. So because during assignment, you will receive around 1 week time, at least 1 week time for submitting the assignment. So after receiving 1 week time, no student should miss this kind of opportunity. Okay. So that's why I will consider all the assignments. For assignment, all the assignments will be considered. Okay. Anything you need to clear? Please ask me, because I cannot explain the same thing in every class, every day. Okay. So just today is the first class. We have some time to spare, so you can ask me anything. If you do not ask me any question, I will just go straight back to the learning process. No question. Oh, I need to discuss another thing. So as the class tests and all the assignments are right now in the online fashion, so what you do in the online class test? You answer on your own or take help from your friend.
My own, sir.
From friends, sir. We always have friends. So they will help us out.
Okay. So what a bonding. So my online, actually you will cope up with the situation after you attend the first city. So there will be multiple set of questions. First rule, multiple set of questions. After questioning multiple sets, if I cannot check your copy behavior or unethical behavior, then I will do nothing. I will do one set of question. But nobody can answer anything. So did you understand what I want to mean?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
Understand.
sir.
Multiple
Yes,
One's
questions.
possible and one's impossible.
So that's the rules that my previous students already know this. So for example, I have taken the first city. After evaluation of the first city, I noticed that a lot of students, a lot of clusters I have found, those who copied group wise. The first thing I most probably give them a warning. For a strict copy, I give them 0 marks. But if the number of students is alarming, then I will directly shift to the second process. Nobody, including you, if you use your best friend, that is Google cannot give you any kind of solution. I will make sure that. So be careful. Okay.
Nobody can answer anything. Why, sir?
Because the questions will be really hard.
Oh,
So এতক্ষণ পরে বুঝলেন, বলছি আপনার গুগল মামারে দিয়ে খুঁজলেও কোশ্চেন খুঁজে পাবেন না, বুঝছেন?
জি জি স্যার, আপনার বাংলা লেকচারটা খুব মিস করতেছি স্যার।
Yes, sir.
জি স্যার, বাংলায় বললে অনেক ভালো হতো।
মজা লাগে স্যার।
মজা লাগে।
জি স্যার,
স্যার আপনার vocabulary
স্যার
অনেক
বাংলা-
মজা লাগে।
স্যার বাংলায় লেকচার দেন স্যার।
না, চাকরি চলে যাবে।
স্যার আপনি না স্যার টকে
কি হয়েছে, টকে কি হয়েছে?
বলতে গিয়ে কেটে গেল স্যার।
Okay, whatever. So if you want to clarify anything, just ask me right now. Otherwise, I will shift to our regular study. So we'll start introduction to database management system. If you do not have any question. So there exists how many students? Around 38. Huge number of students. Actually, I have seen that total number of registered students around 30. 30 is huge. Okay, regarding the attendance, I have another thing to mention. Sometimes I took attendance at the beginning of the class, then I take attendance at the middle of the class, and if I wish, I take attendance at the end of the class. So when I will do such things?
When the student count is low.
Okay. But to be careful. Do not try to do anything clever, because once I was a student. I know the psychology of students. I know in what situation what students want to do. So I will take necessary actions when that kind of situation occurs. Okay, so let's start. So I will upload the slide after the end of the course. So be attentive. Another thing, so sometimes suddenly I may take a sudden city. So for to manage this kind of situations, you need to be well prepared, or you need to be attentive during the class. Okay, so there exists a huge possibility of sudden city. Did you ever attended any sudden city before?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you have experience.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay,
No, sir.
I will make sure there's no sir persons who will remember me.
স্যার সাডেন গুলা কি 5টার মধ্যে কাউন্ট হবে নাকি এটার বাইরে?
Outside of the regular 5 cities, okay?
Take that one break.
বোনাস হিসেবে করে, স্যার।
স্যার সাডেন গুলো স্যার বোনাস হিসেবে দিন।
হ্যাঁ, okay.
হ্যাঁ, স্যার, এটা ভালো হয়।
I have already said that I will count this as outside of this 5 cities. Okay. Okay. So let's start. So the course title of our course is Database Management System. So first thing we need to learn about what is data and what is meant by information. So actually, okay, I will make it short. Actually, what is meant by data? In perspective of computer, data is nothing but a collection of 1 and 0. As we know, our computer works based on a binary system. So in perspective of computer, data is nothing but a collection of 1, 0. So if I give you a sequence of 1, 0, is it meaningful or meaningless? This kind of data, meaningful or meaningless?
So meaningless.
Okay, meaningless. So in terms of computer, it is a collection of 1, 0. In terms of other system, we can define that data is a collection of, okay, the system data, we can say that data is a collection of symbols. So here I have given an example that collection of symbols, one is UIU, another is email, another is Mr. X. So something like that. Another is X, another is the Department of CSE. Okay, so these are data and they are meaningless. We have no insightful meaning from, we cannot extract any kind of insightful meaning from this data. But information is process data. That means we have data, we'll process the data, process the data, and after the processing, the representation of data will be meaningful. Then we can say that we will not say that data, simple data, will define this kind of data as information. So for example, here this is this of data, and we process, after processing of this data, we will get something like that. What is this? Is it meaningful or meaningless? After
Meaningful.
Meaningful.
okay, so after rearranging or processing data, the object or the thing we get is called information. So information is processed data. So here is a simple diagram. Data, multiple data. After the processing of the data, we got information. Clear the difference between data and information?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So data is meaningless, information is meaningful. So what we store in our computer storage, that means what we store in our hard disks, is it data or information?
Data.
Data, because the hard disks, when we save our data in save the materials or contents in hard disks, the contents saved in binary format, and that will be scattered in different hard disk locations or memory address, and this is in hard disks the contents will be meaningless. But after the processing of the data, that means after when we fetch the data from the hard disks, for example, this Excel file or this PDF file, when I fetch this PDF file, the PDF file was stored in my hard disk, and I fetch the PDF file from the hard disk, and after my Adobe or this software has represented me the PDF file as a the data as a meaningful information. That means right now it is a PDF file or meaningful information we are seeing. Okay. So this is a simple difference between data and information. So then we need to know another thing, that is what is meant by web-based system. So actually web-based system is nothing but any kind of system that uses the internet technology. Any system that uses internet technology is a web-based system. Okay. So actually our main focus is to know how web-based system works. You need to know this question for your lab purpose. So for example, this is a simple block diagram of internet. Internet is nothing but a network of networks. Okay. So for example, when for example, here I have designed or mentioned a mobile device, another laptop, or another desktop device. So when any of the device connects with the internet, that device gets an address. What is the name of that address?
IP address.
IP address. So here I have mentioned some IP address. So when any device connects with the internet, it gets an IP address. So right now, which kind of IP address we are using? IP4 or 6?
IP4.
IP4.
Okay. So right now we're using IP address version 4. So just in near future, we'll use IP address version 6. IP address 4 representation is within how many bits requires?
32.
32. IP6?
128.
Yeah, 128. So when any device connects with the internet, that device gets an IP address. So in the device browser, for example, in the device browser, we, for example, typed www.facebook.com. So when we type that facebook.com or that URL, so then our device first contacts with the DNS server. So did you ever hear the name of this name, DNS server?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the full meaning? The DNS? Anyone?
Domain name system.
Yeah. So domain name system. So when I type, for example, www.facebook.com, facebook.com. So when I type this in the browser and I press the enter button in the browser, then browser first communicates with the domain name system, and domain name system is nothing but a map from URL to IP address. It is nothing but a mapping from URL to IP address. So when I type www.facebook.com, the domain name system converts this URL to the corresponding IP address. For example, here I have used 157, just as a demo IP address, 240.035. So this is the IP address to communicate with the Facebook server. So do you have any idea about server? What is meant by server? What is meant by server? Anyone?
Sir, server is the place where from the domain component or like informations are served from. Like when we type Facebook, there is a driver, a place where the data is stored, and when we type the web address, the data serves from that place. So that's why that calls the server.
Yeah, server is nothing but a computer that serves. What they serve? It can serve many types of things depending on your request. Client is a computer or any device that is connected to the internet. It should not be always a computer. Any kind of device that is connected to the internet. So I am just normalizing it with a computer. So client is a computer that requests something. So from the client, we request, for example, right now from the client side, we are requesting www.facebook.com. That means we want to access the facebook.com web page. So then after communicating with the DNS server, the DNS server converts the URL to an IP address. So this is the IP address of the server. Server is a computer. So that is also connected with the internet. Server is also connected with the internet. So as it is a computer, this computer has also a IP address. So the IP address of this Facebook server, the server is Facebook. Here I have assumed that the Facebook server IP address is 157.240.035. Facebook server IP address. I have just assumed that. This is. So the main task of DNS server is to convert this URL to IP address. So this is for the what should I say, easy acceptance of the human, actually, because if for example right now we can browse anywhere we want. We use www.google.com, we use www.facebook.com. Actually for UIU we type what? uiu.ac.bg, don't we?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if we need to memorize this kind of digits, can we memorize a lot of this kind of address?
No.
So it will not be possible for us. So that's why the internet community has developed this kind of DNS, domain name system. Its task is nothing but to map this kind of URL to its corresponding server IP address. So after domain name system returning this IP address, then our device, after receiving this address, then our device wants to communicate with the device having this address. So as you know, for example, there exists, for example, 4 billion devices in internet connected is in internet right now, and all the devices has unique IP address. You already know that. No two devices has the can contain the same IP address. Okay, so it is just like the home address of our city. So when when we connect with the internet, we were assigned to a unique IP address. So when the DNS server returns you that IP address, then it maps to how many devices? This IP address among these 4 billion devices. This IP address maps to how many devices? One or many?
Many, many, sir.
Many devices. This IP address
Sir,
maps
one
to many.
device.
Actually, what I wanted to say, there exists if 4 million devices are connected to internet, all the devices will be assigned to a IP address. Are you clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And no two device has the same IP address. Okay, or no two device can contain the same IP address. All the devices will contain an individual unique IP address. So when the DNS server returns me this IP address, then how many device I want to connect with?
One device.
Exactly one. So this IP address makes the problem very much easier. Without this IP address, I do not know among these 4 billion connected devices in internet, which device is performing the which device is serving as a Facebook server. Okay, yes, operating as a Facebook server. We do not know among these 4 billion connected devices. But when DNS server returns me exactly one IP address, now do we know where we want to go?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So we know where we want to connect with. So after receiving this IP address, then our device or the browser sends the request to this exactly that specific IP address device to serve him. So right now, so this device is receiving the request for servicing. So that's why we will say that this device is a server because it serves. So server is nothing but a device that serves. So after receiving the request from the client, this server first check whether or not the client is an authorized client. For example, if you use Facebook, can you update the profile of your friend? Can you?
No, sir.
So if you send request to Facebook server that I want to update the information of my friend's profile, then the server will first authenticate your request. After authentication, then the server either accept your request or reject your request. Okay. So when the server, if the server reject your request, then you will be you will be rejected and you will be getting some error. For example, bad request error or similar types of there exist different types of error. And if you are authenticated user or your request is accepted by that Facebook server, then if you want to access, for example, facebook.com, then which page you will receive? Your profile timeline or your newsfeed? What you will see in your browser, timeline or your newsfeed?
Newsfeed.
Okay, your newsfeed. So then what? That Facebook server will be build the newsfeed for you. That means this Facebook server has a compiler. This Facebook server contains a programming language implemented software, Facebook server, and it contains a compiler. So what is the purpose of compiler? What is the purpose of compiler?
It compiles data or information.
Instruction. Okay, executes instruction in simple words. So if this Facebook server contains a compiler, so for example, let's suppose that Facebook server is implemented with, for example, let's suppose Facebook server is implemented, FB server is implemented with what? Python. So then this Facebook server will contain a Python interpreter. Python doesn't have any compiler. Interpreter. Okay. So then after receiving a request, if your request is valid, then Facebook server, for example, you want to access your profile info, then Facebook server will build the web page for you within this computer. And if during building or preparing your web page, if it needs to access some data, then it will communicate with another server that is called database server. So can clients directly connect with database server, or only web server connects with database server? What is the scenario here?
Web server will connect with web server.
Only web server connects with the database server. Okay, so it's an important thing to know. In your database lab, you will use this, or this concept will be used several times, multiple times. So if during building your web page, if Facebook server finds that he needs to access some data, then he will communicate with the database server and request the database server to give him the necessary data. The database server will return the necessary data to him. Then the Facebook server will finish its compilation process, and after the compilation process, it will build a HTML file. So in many systems, it mentions that it will be the .txt file. All the same actually. Text file actually. So all the same, .html or .text file. So it builds any one of this. So as we are discussing about HTML file, so let's stick to that HTML file. So after receiving the data from the database server, Facebook server completed its task of preparing the HTML file. So after preparing the HTML file, then it will return you means the client, the HTML file as a HTTP response. Okay, so actually what server receives a HTTP request, and it returns a HTTP response. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So when the Facebook server returns that .html file, then actually how you are accessing the web page, through any kind of software or exactly browser?
Browser.
Browser.
So after receiving the HTML file, your client PC it receives that file, and client PC browser software interprets that file. So after interpretation, we see good looking software like this, everything. So if you go to the browser inspect section, you can see the HTML file. This is the HTML file. This is the file, and browser interpret this file to this page. That's good looking, colorful page. This is the file. Okay. So this is the whole system of web-based system, whole communication process of web-based system. So if you have any question, just ask me the question. Anyone?
No, sir.
No, sir. Okay. So this is the just simple background process how web-based system works. Actually, in browser, we just type the URL and we press enter, and we see the web page within the browser within a few milliseconds time. But in the background, it performs all these operations in the background. It's a huge complicated process. I just explained it in a simple manner. Actually, if I go in depth, this DNS server also performs a very complex tasks, and all the web server actually normally Facebook or giant companies use multiple web server, not a single web server. They use multiple web server. They use a backup system, and they use multiple databases also. So just this is a simple representation of how web-based system works. So if you are clear, then I will go to the next slide. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sure, sir.
Okay. So here, okay. So in the database, the contents or materials we store, that was the data, because that have no meaning there. But after processing, actually, the data, web server receives the data and it builds a beautiful website like this. So after building that website, the data will be represented to you in the browser, and then that data will be will not be a data, then that data will perform as a information. Okay, it's simple. We have already talked about this. So okay, do I go to next?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, okay, here comes the definition of database and database management system. So what is meant by database? Database is an organized collection of data. So actually database is nothing but a memory device that contains holds the data, memory device. For example, we can use our day-to-day hard disks as database, a normal hard disks. Actually, the hard disks we use actually mainly magnetic disks. Do you have any idea about magnetic disks?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Actually, the regular hard disks actually for our desktop computers. Actually, right now majority of the laptops has shifted to the
SSD.
yeah, SSD, solid state drive. So actually, majority of the SATA drive, actually the main terms we should use, SATA, SATA drive. So these are a magnetic device, and actually the hard disks, in general, hard disks meant by magnetic device actually. So any kind of hard disk can be used for database data store purpose. So database is a organized collection of data. This is the simple definition of database. Actually, database has no active role when we try to communicate with the database. So actually, we cannot directly communicate with the database. Actually, we first, from our web server, we first communicate with the database management system. So actually here, the database server consists of two parts. One part is database management system and another part is the real database. Real database means it contains the data, this part. And this management system, it performs the management part of that database. Actually, how this database will perform is daily actions or operations that is controlled by this database management system. So database management system controls the day-to-day operation of this database. So here is the formal definition. Database management system is software that interacts with end users, applications, and database itself to control the storage, organization, and retrieval of data. So this is the main part. Database management system is used for what purpose? It controls the storage, organization, and retrieval of data. So the database contains the data, and how the data will be retrieved or how the data will be organized within that database is managed, controlled by this database management system. Okay, so do you understand the difference between database management system and database? Are we clear?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay, so database management system is an interface. It is an interface between this web server, or if, according to this definition, web server meaning application. It is an interface between this application and the other part of this interface is the database. So it is the intermediate part between these two layers. Okay, so actually the main purpose of database management system is not only to control the database operation. It has also another major important part. For example, I have already mentioned that web server contains a compiler to compile the web pages. So from the backend or web server section, we can use different types of language. For here, I have given an example that we can use PHP for our server side language. We can use Java. We can use Ruby. We can use Python. We can use Node.js. We can use any types of language to perform the operation or the compilation process of our websites. We can build our websites using any of this server-side language. Okay. So if you use PHP or Java or Ruby, all that are same or different types of language? All this?
Different type of language.
Okay. So all these are different kinds of language. So different kinds of language have similar syntax or different types of syntax?
Different type of
Different type.
different types of symbols. Symbols. So that's why, actually, that's why to communicate with the database is a simple or single system, but from the other side of the database is that web server can be built using different types of technologies. So as the web server, we can build within different types of technologies. So we have created, or the programmers have created a common language to interact with this database. And the common language is
SQL.
SQL.
Okay. Actually, SQL is not a language. SQL is a standard. They have set a standard, that is SQL. That means in order to communicate with the database, you always need to maintain all these standards. All these standards. It contains a different set of rules, and all the web servers always need to obey these rules. Okay, maintain these rules. So what is the full meaning of SQL?
structured query language.
Okay. Structured query language. Okay. So either we can build our system using PHP or Java or anything, Python or ... But in order to communicate with the database or database server, in order to communicate with the, in short, database system, in order to communicate with the database system, whatever your development language is, that database system does not care. Just in order to communicate with the system, you need to communicate using a single gateway, that is the SQL. So within that PHP, you need to write or you need to maintain the SQL standards to communicate with the database system. If you use Java, then you also need to use that SQL standards to communicate with the database system. If you use Python, also you need to maintain the SQL standards to communicate with the database system. So right now, whatever your web server language is, does it create any kind of problem?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, because we have a common standards, and all the languages always maintain these standards. So in production or in commercial, commercially, different companies have use these SQL standards, and they have released different types of language in the market. For example, Oracle has released two languages by maintaining these SQL standards. One language is termed as Oracle, and another is MySQL. For example, Microsoft has released Microsoft SQL Server. Also, I didn't know the company name. Also, there is this SQLite. It is also the same. And there is also PostgreSQL. Do you ever heard the name of this?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
PostgreSQL. So these are all these are different types of languages released in the market to communicate with the database system. And all these languages maintain a common standard. And what is the standard? This is the standard. So most probably SQL standard, we are using the recent SQL standard most probably 2005, most probably. Let me check. Standard meaning set of rules. So 1987, no, this should not be the latest. Let's go to wiki. Most probably, I have heard that 2000. Okay, here, yes. Oh, most probably right now we are using either SQL, most probably this one, SQL 1999. We are using this standard right now. Most probably, actually, also the SQL has released also different types of standards till 2016. Most probably right now we are using that 1999 version. just okay, no explicit explanation here. Just Google it. Okay. So SQL standard has different released different version as different years. So it also changes is last time
I
most
think the
probably
same thing is just getting upgraded, like add-ons, I guess.
it is getting upgraded, but last time I checked, most probably as far as I can remember, I think it is SQL 1999 we are using. Okay, it may be, yes, as it has a different latest version. So actually we are not sure right now which standard they are using right now. They should use the latest standard, obviously. So in market, using by maintaining these SQL standards, different companies have released different types of language: Oracle, MySQL, MS SQL Server, SQLite, PostgreSQL. Actually, as all of these languages use the same SQL standard, as a result, all of these languages syntax are almost 90 to 95% similar. 95% similar, almost. Okay, so if you learn Oracle, it's just a matter of time you can switch to MySQL. Actually, you do not need to learn any new things. Actually, there exist 2 or 3 syntax that doesn't match with Oracle and MySQL. All the other syntax are all the same. Okay, so actually, because of the reason that all are maintaining the same standard, that's why. So in order to communicate with the database system, we'll use from whatever language we develop our server. That doesn't create any kind of problem. Actually, in order to communicate with the database system, we will pass or will request our database operations commands through any of this language. So in this course, in this database management system course, we will teach you the MySQL. Why MySQL? Because it's open source. The main reason. It is open source. And another reason I should say that most of the software companies, I have also already worked, already serviced at different software companies, and majority of them use the this open source or MySQL language to communicate with the database day to day. Okay, so this is the language we will teach in our BUET. Our BUET taught us Oracle. Actually, different university teach different languages, but their syntax are almost same. So no need to be concerned about. For example, you are in the interview board. Interview viewer asked you that you know MySQL, you do not know Oracle. You will not admit that claim. You will say no. MySQL and Oracle almost have similar syntax, so I can also work with Oracle. Okay. So do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So so from any of the platform, we will pass our database commands through any of this language. So after receiving the command, the database management system, this database management system will receive the command first. So after receiving this command, database management system will interpret this MySQL or Oracle or SQL, whatever your command is. So database management system will receive your command, SQL command, will be received by database management system, and database management system will compile this command to lower or machine language. Just like any other programming language, database management system also performs the task of compiling. So database management system, after receiving your SQL command, it will convert it to machine language and then pass the machine language commands to the database. And then database will perform the tasks as instructed. So clear the whole process?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is why we need the database management system. There exists also a lots of purposes. That's why we also need to use the database management system. This is that the one major reason that is why we need that database management system in the middle of the database and the server. So other reasons, I have also mentioned the other reasons here. Yeah. So the all other features of database management system are also mentioned here. So how many minutes we have? 7 minutes. Okay. So the another purpose of database management system, these are the auxiliary importance, I should say. This is the main or the primary purpose of database management system. So another reason of using database management system is that database management system provides or minimizes the redundancy, the redundancy of data. Do you know what is meant by redundancy?
No, sir.
Okay. So
data barbar
Useless data সরা দেয়।
useless, you can also
Like
say
the,
that, but
not the things I need.
repetition is the right term. Okay, repetition is the right term. So you have multiple copies of the same data. Okay, you have multiple copies of the same data. So if you do not use the database management system, then it is very much tough to minimize the redundancy of the data. For example, you have 10,000 users, 10,000 users in your system, and each user, you have two database tables. One table name is table 1. Table 1 has 2 columns that stores the username and user email. One table. The other table stores the data of username and for example his address. Other table, for example. So if one table uses username and user email, other table uses username and address. For 10,000 user, let's assume that average per username equals to, for example, it is sized 2 kilobyte. For example, per username. For 10,000 username, what is the size of total 10,000 username?
Double.
2 megabyte.
So this is 2 kilobyte multiplied by 10,000. 10 kilo. Okay, so this is the size of the data. So 2 kilobyte. Okay. So if you repeat the data username, you also use that username here, and you also use the username there. So the same data you are using in 2 different tables. So this table also require this amount of memory, and this table also requires the same amount of memory again. So this is a waste of memory. But if you merge the tables, then your table will looks like this one: username, user email, and address. So then do you need that double memory or a single?
Single, sir.
single
Memory. So it will minimize the redundancy of your data. It will minimize the repetition of this data, and also it will make the system more simple. Here you need to, in order to show the user email, user name, and address, you need to access 2 different tables to access the data, user data. But right now you need to access only a single table to access that user data. So this is one purpose of using database management system. It minimizes data redundancy. So how database management system finds out that it needs to minimize more and more data? Actually, after mid-exam, we have a topic named normalization. I will teach you this topic, and this is the technique that performs this task. redundancy minimization task. Okay, so normalization, it performs that database redundancy minimization task. So I will not go in depth right now. I'll just give you some example how the redundancy occurs and how we can minimize the redundancy. So it's a just very much simple example. So another important importance or significance of database management system is that it provides data consistency. So it provides data consistency. If we go there, consistency meaning you have the same data at different tables, same data. For example, we have a department table in your database. Department table contains data, for example, department name, one column, and another column it contains, for example, department head name. So for example, our department name is, for example, CLC department. Our department head name is Mr. S. For example, Tripoli, department head name is Mr. Y. And your database also contains another table that is, for example, faculty table. So this department head, they are also a faculty of that university, don't they?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they are also a faculty. So as they are a faculty, so their data will also be in the faculty table. For example, faculty table has 3 columns: faculty name, faculty email, and faculty contact number. So, for example, Mr. S is the department head of CSC. His email is at the rate of Gmail something. Contact number, let me just give a demo one. Mr. Y, his email is y at the rate of something, and his contact number is something. Okay, so for example, faculty, for example, Mr. Y suddenly noticed that his name is wrongly input in the system. His name is not Mr. Y, his name should be Mr. for example, YI, for example. So he needs to update his name from the UIU faculty profile. Okay, so he need to update his name from Mr. Y to Mr. YI, for example. Okay, let's suppose this. So if he goes to his faculty profile web portal and he changes his name, then all the data are consistent or it creates inconsistency?
Inconsistency create করবে স্যার, কারণ ডিপার্টমেন্ট টেবিল with একটা প্রবলেম হবে।
Okay, so here the data represents YI, but in another table that also uses the same data, but it remains to the previous version. So different tables contains different version of the same data. Okay, so that creates a data inconsistency. So this kind of problem can be easily resolved using this database management system. Actually, in database management system, I can say that in order to maintain data consistency, it has several features. One of the important feature is redundancy minimization by using throw redundancy minimization. It reduces this kind of inconsistency situation. It also uses integrity constraints. This term will be you will not be familiar with this term. I will come to this point after 3 or 4 lectures in this course. Then you will be integrity. Okay, then you will be familiar with this term. So right now, just consider this as a simple database management system term. We'll discuss in depth later. So this integrity constraint, different types of integrity constraint exist. For example, foreign key. Did you ever heard the name of foreign key in your HSC ICT?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So database management system contains different types of integrity constraints. One kind of integrity constraint is the foreign key. By using this kind of foreign key, database management system also maintains the data consistency. So it has also other features. We will discuss the other feature in the next class. So we have a lot of things to complete. Okay, so let's finish here. So do you have any question you can ask? Otherwise we can leave now.
স্যার আমার তো লেট রেজিস্ট্রেশন, তো হচ্ছে অ্যাটেন্ডেন্সের জন্য কি পরে আপনাকে ইমেল করে দিব?
Today I will give attendance to everyone, so no need to email me today. In the next
স্যার
class
আমার তো
you will-
রেজিস্ট্রেশন করা হয়নি, এই জন্য তো ইএলএমএস আমাকে
when you complete the registration, then you will email me.
জি জি জি।
Okay.
স্যার স্লাইড গুলো কি আপনি আপলোড করে দিবেন?
Yeah.
জি স্যার।
Sir, can you lead, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Assalamualaikum.
Okay. If nobody has any kind of question, then we can leave now.
I have a question, but it doesn't have to do with like DBMS.
What?
Like আমরা যেহেতু পিসিতে যেরকম হইতেছে গিয়ে ওয়েব সার্ভারের অ্যাড্রেস গুলো একভাবে আসে, মোবাইলে কিন্তু ডিফারেন্ট ভাবে আসে, রাইট? বাট এভরিথিং হ্যাজ দ্য সেম, everyone has a unique email address, so or unique IP address, so it